Hi guys, thank you so much for watching Minutes of Positivity. I am Anupriya, the host of the show, and welcome to the new episode of Upbeat the Conversation with Anupriya. Today I have Shikhil Vyas with me, and he is a professional content writer. We spoke about so many things. We spoke about contentment, minimalism, and how to be a professional content writer, how you can be into the specifications, what you all need to look up to, and a lots and lots of things. So make sure you watch the episode till the end and enjoy yourselves. Hi Shikhil, how are you?
Hey, hi Anupriya. I'm good. How about you?
I'm doing all well. So how have you been and how was your day today?
It was good actually, as we both know that how difficult it was for us to actually schedule this. So finally we are here. Finally we are doing this. So there's that. And actually, thank you for inviting me for this podcast. So very
I
nice of you. Thank you.
I have heard that Shikhil is very sweet. Whatever Shikhil writes, it's so heart touching, and even I felt that thing. And yeah, it
Oh,
was a
thank you.
huge task to both of us to coordinate with the timings. And
Yeah, seriously. Because we've been trying since I think more than a month now,
yeah,
and one thing or the other keeps on happening. So it's it has been difficult, but at least finally we are here. So yeah, I think we'll have a good episode.
yeah, definitely. Even I'm so excited to know about your journey. I believe you are a science student, right?
Yeah, so I am a graduate in BTech Biotechnology. So yeah.
इवन आई एम अ साइंस स्टूडेंट बट ऐसा क्यों होता है कि साइंस स्टूडेंट्स है ना एकदम कहीं और डायरेक्शन ढूंढते हैं अपनी वो साइंस में नहीं ढूंढते बस वो कहीं और ही होते हैं एंड व्हाई वी चूज साइंस आई स्टिल डोंट गेट दिस थिंग
Yeah, I think personally I loved science as a kid. I still do. I still uh, find out various sources jahan se maybe I can learn a thing or two about science or anything like that. It's just that uh, science is actually what makes you curious about things, right? When you are in school, there's you start learning about why this thing happens or why that thing happens. So as a kid, that's a very interesting thing that you get to know about different things. I think that evokes curiosity in students that they choose to decide to go towards science and all. At least that is what I wanted to do. But then again, when you come into real life and when you come to professional
या
world, you see that the opportunities are not as much as you
या
expected them to be. I mean,
या
not everyone can be a scientist, or if you even if you want to be a scientist, it's a like a long road ahead, and not everyone is not cut out for that work. So then it hits you, and then you decide, see that what else can be done, and then you realize that there are plenty of other opportunities too that you can do. So I think yeah, this is what I think. Baki, I think सबका अपना रहता है, so can't generalize why people choose science.
But I chose it randomly. I had no clue. मतलब when I was like कि ठीक है I'll do fashion designing also but I was not aware कि इतना ज़्यादा difficult हो जाएगा मेरे लिए कि
Mhm.
zoology भी पढ़नी पड़ेगी. Never expected me to study like oh my god दूर दूर तक वास्ता नहीं है अनुप्रिया का studies से तो
So you were
yeah.
into medical student, or were you
No.
in physics and non-medical sciences?
I was into home science, so we had multiple subjects. तो उसमें
All right.
कैलकुलेशंस भी करनी पड़ती थी मैथ्स भी होती थी माय गॉड मुझे पता ही नहीं कि मुझे सब मजा आई थी आई रिमेम्बर क्लियरली आई ओनली लाइक इंग्लिश वो भी बहुत कम अदरवाइज आई मेरा फेवरेट सब्जेक्ट ही आई थिंक ईवीएस होता था
All right.
yeah so how did you started your content writing like what gave you
Yeah.
motivation
So I was always interested in content ever since I was in school. So I remember during summer holidays or stuff like that, we used to get assignments to write essays and poems and stuff like that. So at that point of time, I became interested in writing. So when I used to do my homework and all that, and when I used to show it to the teacher, then she used to praise me in front of everyone. So I think that gave me a kind of boost to think of it that maybe something I can maybe take it up later in my career also. But I think since I loved science and I loved English when I was in school. So I think these were my two favorite subjects. So I always thought maybe I'll be going to the science field and anything like that. So I did my graduation in BTech Biotechnology. I actually started my career in research only. And so I was a research fellow at a government research institute. I was working in an actual lab. So I was working around people who were doing their PhDs. I was working around people who were into research, who were doctors, who were scientists, and all like that. And at that point of time, I realized that maybe the road ahead is not right for me, or I'm not too suitable for it, or I kind of lost interest in that. And then at that point of time, I received an opportunity in a publishing company. And then I decided to take a chance with it, to switch a field, because I had my education in medical sciences. I had my experience in medical sciences again. So I just decided to maybe jump the ship and see, because I always had inclination towards writing, towards English also. So I took up a job in copy editing, and that's how I started with this writing journey. So through copy editing, I entered into the world of publishing and writing. At that point of time, I started my personal blog, Vyas Speaks, and at that point of time, started publishing various articles on my personal blog. And people who were around me, they actually appreciated some blogs that I wrote. So that gave me a further push, and then I ventured into content writing full time. So that's how it has been. So I took a chance, but luckily it went well for me. And I think I'm in a place right now where it's going well for me. And I feel that it's better that I did not pursue a career in science, because I feel I'm so much happier and so much more content right now with the work that I'm doing. So I think, yeah, that's how it has been. So
But yeah, it's a great journey. So, how long have you been into this content writing, particularly into your full time job?
So I have been writing close to 4 years now.
4 years? Oh my
Professionally, I've
God.
been writing close to 4 years now. Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice.
So I went from one organization to the other. I worked with startups also, large organizations also. Currently, I'm working in an IT company. So I specialize now in writing about technology, and I'm a tech writer specifically. So it has been a full circle from going from medical sciences to technology. But yeah, so that's how it has been.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So, if somebody wants to, start writing, so how they can venture into writing, how they can start it up?
All right. So I think this is something that many people ask me as well. I used to, like, when someone comes to know that I'm a writer, they ask me, okay, this is interesting. How can I become a writer, or how can I be something, do something like you are doing? So I think the most important thing that one needs to have is to have an inclination towards writing. If you love writing, or if you are into writing, if you write, maybe it does not matter if you write for clients or if you write professionally. Even if you write for in a notepad, or even if you write on your Instagram or your Facebook or your Twitter, so at least you need to have that interest towards writing, because writing, at the end of the day, it's a very boring job when you look at it. You All you need to do is
I
just
used to think
sit.
this thing कि oh
Right,
my
you need
god,
to sit
कैसे
down.
कोई बैठ सकता है सारा दिन और कैसे लिख
Exactly,
सकते हैं?
exactly. So you need to have that love for writing, so that you can keep at it. मतलब आप पूरे दिन बैठ के भी आपको सिर्फ लैपटॉप पे टाइप करना है, और maybe just write in a pen with a pencil or a pen. So you need to have that interest in writing. If you have that, then the rest of the way is easier, because you're already writing. How you can get into professionally writing professionally, is by creating samples for yourself. There are various platforms where you can go write for free. There are blogs. There's a website called Medium where you can publish your blogs for free. You can also write
Hmm,
a blog on. Yeah. So it's a
nice.
great platform where you can just go and publish your stories. There is this Hub Pages. You can write on Quora also. There's a blog section. You can also write on LinkedIn blog,
Hmm.
LinkedIn articles. So the point is, once you start creating a sample work, this will give you more credibility, so that when you approach a person to write for them professionally, it will make it easier for you. For example, if I've written 5 blogs on, let's say, wellness, or I've written 5 blogs on yoga or technology. So
Yeah.
when I approach someone, I can show them, see, this is the kind of work that I do, that I have done, and based on that, the person will hire you. The first step is to have that interest towards writing. The second step is to publish your article somewhere on the internet. There are many free platforms. The third is to actually approach people whom you can offer your services. So that's a different ball game altogether, because approaching clients, again, the person has to trust your writing, to trust your services, to actually pay you for doing it. So initially you might have to do it for free also, for maybe a blog or two. Maybe you'll have to do it at much lesser price, because once you get experience with working with a client, you can then build on that as a base, and then you can pitch into other clients also. So that's how one can get into it.
Nice. So what exactly do you mean by professional content writing? Like you explained me about the writing part. Even I have started writing. मतलब पता नहीं कहाँ से ऐसी चीजें हो रही हैं जो मुझे कभी लगता था कि मैं नहीं कर पाऊंगी, but अब मैं वो कर रही हूँ. And yeah, so what exactly do you mean by professional content writing?
Yeah, so this is a big thing, that when you write for someone professionally, it's completely different than writing for yourself. जैसे अगर मैं खुद के लिए लिख रहा हूँ, I can write about inspiration, I can write about motivation, or I can share stories, I can write poems. When you write professionally, the goal is to deliver an end product. I'll give an example. With the growing digitization, everyone is moving their business online, right?
Yeah.
For example, let's say I have a maybe a dog shop, a pet shop, right? So one day, since I pandemic ke time pe, since everything closed, so I need to reach out to more customers. So jo meri current approach thi to reach out to customers offline, that is not currently working. So I decided ki maybe I'll take the other route, digital route. I'll create a website more for myself. Now when I decide to create a website for myself, आप वेबसाइट पे क्या चीज आप you will put down there, मतलब you cannot just keep a blank website. You'll need to write about your services. आपको वेबसाइट पे you'll have to mention, okay, this is what I sell, or these are the dog breeds available. You need to create a blog section again in your website. You'll need to write what kinds of dogs should be good for someone, or there's a lot of, मतलब आप किसी भी website, when you open a website, you'll see like there's so much content out there. So professional writer helps that person in writing content for their website or for their any channel, maybe for social media also. So that is the difference between that is what professional writing is about. कि you have an end goal is mind. For example, end goal in mind. For example, अगर मैं किसी pet shop की website के लिए लिख रहा हूँ, तो end goal is कि कोई person अगर उस website पे आके पढ़े, तो he gets to know that what this person sells, or इसकी this is this shop है, or what are the features, or where is it located, or what kind of dogs or dog breeds that he has. So that is the difference between main defining feature of a professional content writer. So people they approach you for writing for professional content writing. Mein there can be website copies when you write for their websites. There can be social media. So there can also be white papers. Also, there's also a thing called ghost writing. For example, when people they reach a certain level or certain status, they don't have time to write their own copies. They don't have time to write their own blog post or their social media or anything they put out on the internet. Uske liye they hire ghost writers. So they like speech writers also. So so these content writers, they write for these particular people, so that without sharing their name or their credentials. So that's what it is.
Okay, so if somebody is going to write for me, and if I'm going to hire somebody for me, and I am not allowing that person to share their name, but yes, on my behalf, that person is writing, that means it's a ghost writing, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
that is ghost writing.
But I have one question here, like
Sure.
content writers तो in general होते हैं, right? So how is the content writer be able to write for the jewelry? The content writers is able to write about the IT, the medical.
That's right.
So matlab,
Good point.
I just felt this thing because I have done internship in content writing because I was very curious to write. But then when she gave me samples about the law,
Excuse me.
about the school, and about the democracy, about the political environment, and I was shocked that I am not supposed to write this thing. I think content writers are of different types. So is there any type, or how do you even define this thing?
Very, very good question. Actually, what happens is there are two things that a content writer needs to succeed in his or her field, right? First is good writing skills, good English skills. Second is research skills. A person who can do a good research can be a very great content writer. Agar, even if your writing is weak a little, but you are good at research, you are good at collecting information from various sources, then you can be a great content writer. Okay. So for example, as you said that if you got an article assignment for jewelry or something, right? So as a content writer, I'm a generalist. I don't know exactly कि ये laws क्या है, what is this jewelry about, all that.
Mm-hmm.
So the first task for me would be to do a Google search about it, or maybe through various sources. Maybe I'll watch even YouTube videos. I'll read various articles. I'll read various blogs on the internet. I'll maybe listen to a podcast अगर मुझे कहीं से information नहीं मिल रही है. The first thing is for me is to understand what the person is asking me to write about. Once I develop a basic understanding, then I can pick information from various sources and then just write it in my own words and present it to the audience, right? So this is how it is done in a this is the basically how it is done. अब क्या होता है, there's this thing called specialization. For example, all the writers, they start as as journalists, right? So they will write on anything and everything. They will start, but they will maybe sometime down the line they will diversify their skills, and they will specialize in a particular topic. For example, right now I specifically write on technology only, right? I write on emerging tech like AI, ML, and IoT, etc. So what I did is, when you specialize, you don't take up other content writing assignments. I don't write about health, I don't write about medicine, I don't write about anything else. So when you जब आप एक particular चीज पे when you write for a long time, you actually start to develop an understanding for it. So even though I'm not from a technology background, but over the years, over the months, मैंने इतने articles लिखे हैं उस चीज पे, technology पे, that I've got a basic understanding. So research, I still do research on my own part. I go to various sources, I learn about things and all that. But on the other hand, उसके साथ, since I have done so much work over the years, तो वो experience, that understanding, that also helps me. So for example, मुझे basic ये search नहीं करनी पड़ती that what is this technology or what is that. तो मुझे I'm already aware of it because I have written so many articles on it. So that helps. So when you specialize, you actually develop an understanding for it.
Yeah.
That's how it is.
So what exactly do you mean by contentment and minimalism? मतलब आजकल काफी इनमें है.
Right. So along with writing for clients that I do, I often talk on my social media about contentment and minimalism. So the idea is to be happy in the least that you can. The idea is to be happy in the things that you already own, rather than worry about things that you may or may not have.
Future, like not think about the future, but think about the present, right?
Yeah. Yes, because for example, I have a job right now, right? I will be happy with the job I have and be grateful for it and be happy about it, rather than worrying about, yeah, the friend of mine, he got a bigger job and I'll be jealous of him, or stuff like that. That's the idea behind contentment. Because when you're content with your life, it improves all the areas of your life, basically. It's not just your careers, it helps your relationships, it helps everything. Because a peaceful mind, I think, is the biggest asset that a person can have. Or contentment is something that can help achieve that kind of mental peace, that zen that they say. This is something that it can help achieve. Of course, it should not be confused with ki ambition nahi hai, or a lack of ambition or stuff like that. So you have ambition, you need to grow, you want to grow in life, but at the same time, you're also aware that things can be much worse. There are people who are not doing as well as I am, and just be grateful for the things that you have. Maybe good health, good family, maybe a decent paying job, maybe a home. There can be numerous things. So just develop a mindset of being content with what you have. And the idea of minimalism is to go against consumerism, because what happens is the advertisements and the social media and influencers, everyone, they're trying to sell us one thing or the other. We just get we spend like maybe 50,000-60,000 on a phone, and then in next 2 months we'll start seeing an ad that a latest model has come and it has new and improved features and all that. So it becomes so difficult to it becomes very difficult to live with like that you're always in, oh man, I missed on that. So when you seek more, you always uh, keep seeking more and more. It's like it's a pit that never fills, right? मुझे ये चाहिए तो उसके बाद ऐसा नहीं है कि you will be ठीक है ये मिल गया, now I'll be happy. It will be very brief lived happiness.
But ये तो human tendency है. Needs and wants are
Yeah.
endless of humans.
Yeah, so
मतलब
that
yeah.
is the why minimalism, what minimalism teaches is again to be happy with what you have, and instead of seeking more, you need to get rid of more. That's like, but to be happy with what you have rather than always worrying about. Of course it will be very difficult, it's so easy to say than to apply it. But again, by repeating it, by saying it, by talking to yourself again, it can be done. And I think it's a better approach to talk yourself towards minimalism rather than always worrying about the latest things or latest gadgets or latest big cars, homes, or stuff like that.
Yeah. And so, Shikhil, according to this only, like I have seen your some of the posts, and I have talked to you before recording this podcast also, and I I thought that you are a very down to earth person, and you have very simple life. You live a very simple life. So is it true or not? Like, because I obviously personally don't know you, but whatever it seems to be, it seems to be very kind, very you're very polite, calm, ekdam shant wala. See, so is it true? Like, I'm so happy, at this age people are usually not. They're always hustling. उनको ये नहीं, उनको वो चाहिए जो उनके पास नहीं होता. वो happy नहीं होते. In fact मैं भी ऐसी हूँ, अभी भी थोड़ी बहुत हूँ कि I'm not happy whatever I have. But yes, I am trying to change this habit. So I just like this thing about you. So just tell me about more.
Yeah, so the idea is not that you should completely live a simple life, because that's of course not possible for everyone. I actually the simplest lives that people live are actually monks, and they have the most
Yeah.
basic level of they don't need anything. I think they're too peaceful as well. So they are someone that I actually look up to. But again, the idea that I often talk about is to live a simpler life. Even when you visit my blog, it says live a simpler life.
Yeah.
So idea is to not simpler, as the word suggests, is to be little more simple than you are. For example, if you have 10 things, so a simpler life for you would be maybe have 9 things. You don't have to be so drastic. You don't have to like sadhu sant ban jaye or ekdam se sab kuch chhod ke wo ban jaye, because it's not possible. Everyone has a different level of let's say achievement or simplicity
Yeah.
that they can achieve. So I like this line a lot because it's very subjective. It says you live a simpler life. So simpler life for you could mean maybe 8 things out of 10. A simpler life for me could mean 6 things out of 8, 7, or stuff like that. So that's the beauty of this line. I actually love it. So the idea is just to simplify your life as much. आप 4 जगह अपना हाथ मारे हो, यू आर हसलिंग, मुझे ये भी करना है, ये भी करना है, ये भी करना है, ये भी करना है. फॉर यू, फॉर दैट पर्सन, अ सिंपलर लाइफ वुड बी ओके, मे बी इस चीज में आई एम नॉट दैट गुड एट इट, मे बी आई वोंट बी एबल टू अचीव दैट मच एट इट. सो rather than trying to exhaust myself doing all these things, maybe I focus on these 2 things that I'm really good at. So that is a simpler life for me. So this is the idea that this is the thought behind this line, that live a simpler life. अगर आप 4 jobs करें, maybe you should focus on 2. Maybe if you have 10 15 friends on this, maybe you should focus on 5 really good friends who will be there for you when you need them the most. So that is the idea behind it. And this is also something that I try to achieve. Also, of course I have my own down moments. I also get angry, I also get anxious and stuff like that. But I think my writing actually helps me a lot in this regard. So the most of the stuff that I write for my social media, these are mostly a reminder to my own self. So when I ask, so if I write a social media post on my Vyas Speaks Shikhil on my Instagram page, if I ask someone to live a simpler life, it's actually a gentle reminder to my own self. So I write it to remind myself that okay, it's okay that it was a difficult day. Maybe you you try to do it little better tomorrow. Maybe you improve, you build on it a bit. So that is the idea that I try to share through my writing and through my articles, blogs, and social media.
So, do you think that today's lifestyle affects our lifestyle or our culture or our self? That change is coming because of today's lifestyle. Because if we talk about the 90s, so the life was very simple. Like we were not very anxious. Actually, our parents were also not very anxious. They were not worried about the future. They were not uh, very much curious to know everything. And obviously, social media has impacted some or the other way in a very wrong aspect. And do you think that, because of this depression, because of this mental stress, or because of the lifestyle which we are living today, the people which we are surrounded by, has affected some of our life?
All right. I do think that things have changed, but I personally also believe that the overall net effect is always zero. This is what I mean. That of course there are things for us, maybe social media or changing food habits or changing lifestyle that are affecting us. But at the same time, we also have so many means. Or wahi cheez, if we look at maybe our parents, so maybe decades down the road, maybe decades in history, so they were difficult. For example, it is so easy right now to connect with someone who is sitting at the other corner of the world.
Yeah.
So we have the opportunities which our parents did not have, right? For them, the life was about survival. For them, life was about maybe getting a good government job. That's all they had to do. Their life was to travel to even to get to office. They had to travel so much, little things like that. Maybe they did not have the luxury to go to a mall and order stuff. They don't have the luxury to just do things on a Flipkart or a Uber or stuff like that. So even though things have changed, but overall the net effect have been zero. So they had their own set of challenges. This is what I believe. We have our own set of challenges. उन्होंने अपने time पे they used to deal with it, and they succeeded or whatever. Similarly, our challenges are a little different than their challenges. So we also need to figure out ways to deal with that. That's all.
Yeah.
That's what I believe. Okay. If there have been some negative, there have also been a lot of positive that have come.
Yes,
So we
and
should not
yeah.
think कि नहीं हम disadvantaged है या वो disadvantaged है, because overall the net effect is zero. That's my that's
And
what I
yeah,
believe.
and always things can't be in your favor, always things can't be in a positive manner. So it is a good thing that we are always dealing with the negative and the positive things equally or unequally, but still we are trying to manage things some or the other way. So now I am very curious to know about this thing that yes, so many people, merge this thing that SEO and content writing is somehow related together. मतलब अगर कोई कंटेंट राइटिंग कर रहा है तो उसको एसईओ तो आना ही आना चाहिए और डू यू नो एसईओ यू नो एसईओ
Okay. Acha, you're asking me. Yeah, I know the basics of SEO. See, the point is,
या
it is not necessary that कि आपको दोनों चीजें आए, ठीक है? You can
हम्म
be a content writer and someone who can take us of SEO, which is search engine optimization for
या
people who are not aware of it,
या
right? So the point is, if you have the knowledge of both, it actually makes you a better package. For example, if I am a client, फिर मुझे अपनी वेबसाइट के लिए I want content and I want content to rank. So
हम्म
if I find someone who is good at SEO, if I find someone who's also good at writing, so it will be a more convenient for me rather than looking for two or three people. I can just hire one guy who's aware of SEO and writing as well. But then
हम्म
again, if that person is aware of all that, he will have that kind of higher fees, because that comes as a package. वो आपका,
या
he's doing
या
SEO for you, he's doing writing for you. So for writers, I think it's always beneficial if they are aware of it, because also basics are something that I think everyone already knows, most of the writers, because since they work with so many digital marketers, they work with so
हम्म
many brands, that they are actually aware of these things mostly. So having that is always a plus point. but I believe it's not necessary that you should have
Yeah,
both, the knowledge of both.
I just wanted to be clear because मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि every time if you are applying for any internship or for job, that means you should be aware of the content writing and SEO because it is a necessity part because most of the companies I think demand for it.
Hmm. Right.
Yeah. So I just had a great time with you. Like, okay, I was not aware that okay, content is so deep because I am also a content creator, so that is something very different. But yes, obviously we require some script. ऐसे ही जाके नहीं बोल सकती कुछ भी. So now I understand the value of content writing also. And yeah, this episode was very special because you are a nice person. Like, okay, I've never
Thank
met.
you.
You are a very nice person and a very informative and very optimistic, positive person. And writing is all about whatever you feel, whatever you should be aware of it and make people in a very positive manner aware. Yeah. So
Thank you to you also for inviting me, first of all. And I think you are doing actually a good job. I do see your videos, but I think if you maintain that consistency, you will be able to do really good. But I think at the end of the day, issue happens when people quit their things in between. I think that is the biggest, most common thing that happens, that people quit in between. And like how you are consistent with your content. And the podcast was really good. You really conduct yourself very well, and I really wish you all the best for your future podcast episodes as well. Thank you.
thank you so much, Shikhil. It is a huge compliment, by the way. Even I was feeling low quite a long time. But yeah, this gives me a motivation. This gives me a huge push that I'm not gonna stop it. And to all the lovely people, to all the lovely audience, I will be posting Shikhil's coordinates and do follow his page, do read his blogs because he writes are just amazing and you will, तो पढ़ते ही वो होता है ना कि अपन कुछ पॉजिटिव पढ़ते हैं तो शिखिल का पढ़ो यू विल फील ग्रेट इन योर
Thank
लाइफ
you.
no because I just feel this thing Shakil ki people do read newspapers so I am not a person who reads newspaper I feel oh my god so much of negativity मेरा पूरा दिन ऐसे सिर्फ negative जाता है so I just feel कि read the article or read something which gives you motivation which gives you peace so I think that's your page that gives me peace because I often read it so yeah it's a good thing and thank you so
Thank you.
much for being a part of the show. And thank you, everybody. You can directly reach out to Shikhil if you have any doubts regarding the content or anything. He's there to help you, or you can reach out to me. And yeah, stay safe, and we'll meet next week.